Meanwhile, what about the Taylor Swift connection? Did she dodge a bullet here?
She appears to have dodged a bullet. So FTX and Taylor Swift, I'm told from three sources who were close to that deal, they were almost over the finish line on what was supposed to be a $100 million sponsorship.
Wow.
So they pulled. It didn't end up happening, but this was painted as an example from multiple sources and those that were close to the deal who said it fits into a fact pattern of Sam Bankman-Fried saying, I'm going to steamroll this. I'm going for this deal, regardless of what you say. Some said that the company couldn't afford to do it. They weren't sure what they were getting here other than potential NFTs that they were launching. And it was an example. People say they begged him not to do it. Didn't end up happening. So Swift may have dodged something here.
Hey, soldiers, Taylor Swift told FTX where they could go and what they could do with their $100 million endorsement deal. Now, we're going to get into it and show you how Taylor Swift just reinforced one hell of a lesson to the investing public at every level. Now, in addition to doing that, she also may have made things worse for the likes of Tom Brady, Shaquille O'Neal, Steph Curry, Larry David, and the YouTubers, especially the YouTubers that endorsed FTX. Got a multi-billion-dollar suit out there from the people who lost money, class action. We're going to get into it. All right, guys, listen, go ahead, enlist. Simple to do. Just hit that subscribe button. Let me know you subscribed in the comments and I will salute you. Salute to all these soldiers of finance. Guys, I need you to hit that thumbs up button because that tells YouTube to propagate this content throughout their audience. Make everyone aware of this. So the more thumbs up we get, more votes of confidence, more people see these videos. I thank you for that. Now, guys, look, we always stress on this channel to do your due diligence. And Taylor Swift just showed you why that is important. Because, look, Taylor Swift took a look at this deal, examined it, and she came out on the winning side of it. All right. She is smelling like a rose. Now, I don't know any of her music, but I do know her name. She's obviously a very popular artist. A little outside of my generation and choice of genre. It's fine, though. She's obviously a very smart young woman and surrounded by smart people, which is important when you're dealing with your money because you don't want to lose your money, right? And Taylor Swift got offered $100 million. That's tough. That's tough to turn down, I would imagine. If you look at some of the other people who just said, hey, I'll take it, and took a lot less, all right, without doing an adequate amount of due diligence. Now, let's get into it. Taylor Swift sidestepped the FTX lawsuit by asking one simple question. Investors can use the same strategy to avoid potential scams. And boy, what a scam FTX turned out to be. According to things that we've heard from the bankruptcy attorney, John J. Ray, and the people who have pled guilty, all right? Now Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO, has pled not guilty, and we still have to wait to see what happens. So all the crimes that he is charged with are alleged until we hear otherwise. When it comes to making business decisions, Taylor Swift does her due diligence all too well. In 2021, the pop superstar, was approached by the now bankrupt crypto exchange FTX about a $100 million sponsorship deal that would have involved her selling tickets as non-fungible tokens to her fans. This is according to Financial Times. Now, look, we talked about the non-fungible tokens before, okay? The first non-fungible token that was sold for quite a bit of money, was the first tweet. Now, as you can see here on the screen, I also have the first tweet. You can go to Google, type first tweet, click images, and you can also have the first tweet. So I'm not sure why this is valuable, okay? Why these non-fungible tokens, I'm not sure why they're valuable at all. But whatever, right? I've always said, you want a non-fungible token, buy a piece of real estate. Every piece of real estate is different, okay? it meets the definition of a non-fungible token, and it has verifiable wealth and asset class status attached to it. Now, of course, if you buy, something in a bad neighborhood near, an old abandoned steel plant, of course, that's going to be one thing. But, if you buy right, that real estate could turn out to be worth a lot of money. So I'm going to put my long-term bet on that kind of non-fungible token, as opposed to pictures of gorillas or monkeys or whatever it is, or the first tweet. However, this $100 million deal that they offered her to endorse these products using these non-fungible tokens, that never materialized. Before inking the deal, Swift asked FTX representatives a simple question. This is according to Adam Moskowitz, one of the attorneys leading a class action lawsuit against FTX's celebrity endorsers. In our discovery, Taylor Swift actually asked them, "Can you tell me that these are not unregistered securities?" That's what Ms. Swift asked. Moskowitz's lawsuit is seeking over $5 billion in damages, according to the law firm's website. All right, so they're making the case that, look, Taylor Swift's a recording artist, yet and still, she had the financial savvy to ask, basically, is this thing legit? Okay? And obviously did not receive an answer that was satisfactory to her and her folk, so they passed on it. So I'm sure Moskowitz is going to use that to impeach any claims by these other celebrities that, well, I'm just a basketball player. How was I supposed to know? And they can point to Swift and say, well, you were supposed to know because you were supposed to ask appropriate questions. Shaquille O'Neal, don't act like you are not a business owner. Shaquille O'Neal owns a lot of businesses, has a lot of investments. It goes without saying that he is surrounded by people who have great, financial acumen. Right? So that's the claim they can make. They can make the same claim with Tom Brady, all right? Or any of these guys. And look, they've got one thing they can hang their hat on at the end of the day is, look, I don't know about finances. And that is actually, that could be legitimate when you say, okay, take away your people, okay? It's a long shot, but take away your people that, handle all these issues for you. Yes, Shaquille O'Neal, I can believe you know more about basketball than you know about high finance or, crypto. I can believe that. But when it comes to the YouTubers with financial channels, okay, channels in the financial genre and category, it's kind of a hard case to make because what is Meet Kevin going to say? I don't know anything about finance. It would destroy his credibility and probably cause him to lose a massive amount of subscribers on YouTube. So I don't think the YouTubers are going to have as easy a time getting out of this as the celebrities do. Now, thing about the YouTubers that's different from the mega celebrities like O'Neal is that Shaquille O'Neal is a very, very rich man, okay, wealthy man. Brady, same thing, okay. So the deeper pockets are with the celebrities, not the YouTubers. So, of course, Moskowitz looking for $5 billion. And you might say, wait a minute, $5 billion? Well, it's a class action lawsuit. So I don't know how he's calculating this, but there's more than one plaintiff involved. And look, Moskowitz has got to keep his slick Mercedes Benz. He might actually move up to an Aston Martin after this. So come on, guys. I mean, guy needs $5 billion. Guy needs $5 billion, right? Because the attorneys typically win in those class action suits. The lawsuit claims that FTX's high-profile promoters did not properly research FTX before participating in the, quote, offer and sale of unregistered securities in the form of yield-bearing accounts, unquote. Swift was one of the only celebrities to question the exchange. Moskovitz says on his podcast. Swift is not named in the lawsuit. CNBC made a request for comment from Swift. She has not returned. Why? Nothing to talk about. I passed on it. Don't lump me in with these guys, As a part of the December complaint, the Securities and Exchange Commission has alleged that FTX's native digital token, FTT, fits the agency's description and definition of a security because it was offered and sold as an investment contract. The SEC uses the Howey test to determine whether something counts as an investment contract, which includes the following criteria. There is an investment of money in a common enterprise in which the investor expects a profit. The profit is delivered solely from the efforts of others. Okay, so that's the Howey test. It's against federal law for a company to offer or sell securities unless the offering has been registered with the SEC or an exemption to registration is available, according to the agency's website. Although many companies raise funds from investors through unregistered offerings, fraudsters may also use them to conduct investment scams, the SEC warns. Every day, investors can scrutinize unregistered offerings just like Swift by watching out for a number of red flags outlined by the SEC. So, I'm saying, look, this is simple. We got it on the SEC's website. Hey, Shaquille O'Neal, do you know how to use the internet? Yes. Okay, sir. Well, did you ever go to the SEC's website prior to giving or signing that contract with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX? No. Okay. Now let's go from there. All right. So what do you need to watch out for? What probably was the first thing that tipped Taylor Swift off was the fact that it sounded too good to be true. So all you need me to do is sell tickets to concerts, presumably, that she's going to be performing at. Sell them as these non-fungible tokens. And you will give me $100 million. Sounds too good to be true. It usually is. Okay, so that's probably the first thing that kind of tipped her off and said, I don't know, Now, some people would just accept that as, hey, ego. Yeah, I'm worth $100 million. Okay, what do you want me to do? Not Taylor Swift, apparently. A classic warning sign of fraud is a promise of high returns with little or no risk. The SEC warns all investments carry some degree of risk. And look, Taylor Swift is a business. So that would have been an investment of sorts, her putting her name and her brand up in support of FTX, okay? And look how damaging it has been for, so many. And it could become even more damaging because think about it. All of the YouTubers that have been sued, they still have their channels, and that's fine. But if this guy wins this, even if the guy doesn't win the suit, think about the money that they're kicking out to defend themselves. When somebody files suit against you, hey man, you gotta get a lawyer, okay? If you're smart. So even if they win, they still kind of lose money. Unregistered investment professionals. You should always check whether the person trying to sell you an investment is properly registered and licensed to do so, even if you know them, so says the SEC. You can check an investment professional's background, qualifications, and registration through the Investment Advisor Public Disclosure website and the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority's BrokerCheck website. All right, so those are some things you could do. The biggest one is if it sounds too good to be true, guys, it usually is. If a salesman, this is the last one, problems with sales documents. If a salesman won't provide any information about a potential investment in writing, you should probably avoid it. That's like an initial red flag. A legitimate private offering will typically be described in a private placement memorandum. Now, look, it is true that the folks who signed the terms of service at FTX, this is one of the things that it's being talked about and is in dispute with regard to Sam Bankman-Fried's case, is that terms of service that they signed, they're, the government is claiming that the depositors were misled because what happened with their money is not something that they wanted to, per the terms of service that they signed. So again, you have to be very careful. And if a guy in a wrinkled t-shirt, shorts, and who hasn't cut his hair in several months, I'm just going on 1 week, so, you know, give me a break. And my shirt is collared and not wrinkled. But if a Sam Bankman-Fried approaches you and starts talking, this is another thing that people have to watch out for. If you don't understand it, stay away from it, okay? Because sometimes people will try to cloak their scammers, will try to cloak their nefarious intentions in a lot of language, okay? Now look, Coca-Cola. Somebody came to me and said, hey, invest in this. It's Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, what'd that do? Oh, well, Coca-Cola is a refreshing soft drink. Here, have some. Taste for yourself. Swish it around. Has a nice note. Oh, yeah, okay. It's pretty easy to understand. I think I'm going to put a few dollars down on this, okay? iPhone, Apple, okay? Hey, what do you guys do? Well, we're looking for investment money, and what we do is we produce these computers that help business people become more productive. Here, we'll let you borrow one and see, you know, how it works out for your office. Oh, okay, all right, yeah, this makes sense. Okay, non-fungible token. Hey, we're looking for money for this non. Oh, really? And what does that do? Well, let's check this one out. We got the first tweet. The first tweet. Does that appreciate in value? Apparently not, because the guy that bought the first tweet tried to sell it for more than he bought it for. No takers, all right? And why would he have takers if everybody has, he's the only dummy that paid for this, okay? Again, I just gave you the instructions on how to get it yourself. So if you don't understand it, and it's trying to be, the person that's pushing it is trying to cloak it in a lot of language, complicated language. Don't be one of these people who are like, Okay, a lot of people do that and don't understand. In America, we've been trained by and large, especially if you went to a public school. You don't want to look stupid. You don't want to be wrong, okay? That's why in school, when the kids, all right, teacher says, what's 3 plus 3? Johnny? 6? You know, he doesn't answer it confidently. He's like, is it 6? Because for some reason, that compulsory school system trains you not to want to be wrong at the cost of not learning, okay? So, looks like Taylor Swift avoided all of that, gets to keep her money, all right? Doesn't have to spend it on expensive lawyers, and probably at the end of the day will end up saving a lot more than $100 million. She could have been hit harder than that if she had taken this bait and run with that crowd over at FTX. So she didn't. That's very, very admirable of her. And I hope that you take a lesson from that and are able to discern, be very discerning when you're putting your money down for something. Now, speaking of putting your money down for something, you thinking about buying a new car? Well, cars may be about to get a lot more expensive if you're able to get a car loan. Watch this video here where we talk about the banks and how their troubles are now extending into the auto sector. And we got a solution for you. All right, watch the video, find out what it is. I'll talk to you soon.